Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. There's no sport that more heavily weighs its regular season games than college football, and there are a massive amount of you that love that about college football so much and are sick about the fact that the national championship got moved from 2 to 4 and is moving from 4 to 12, and you don't want that at all. And I understand why you feel that way. It's not how I feel, but I understand how you feel that way. And because every regular season game is weighed so heavily, it's people like me that are hesitant to schedule big-time out-of-conference games. I already know I got to go to Tuscaloosa. I already know I got to go to Oxford. I already know that A&M's coming to me, and then I've got Florida and Auburn on the schedule. I already know if I win my side of the division that Georgia or Tennessee is waiting in Atlanta. I got enough big games that I've got to prove myself in. I'm not wild about adding the new ones. And yeah, they're fun to talk about, and it's fun leading up to it. But guess what? 4 years in a row, LSU's gotten punched in the gut right out of the chute. And in this sport, it is tough to recover from that. You leave yourself no margin for error. There are some 0-2 NFL teams that are a little bit paranoid right now. But you got a lot of time to figure it out. In college football, you lose your second game, and you're a championship aspirational program. You've got real problems. And we know that LSU's halfway there at this point. And so here we sit in a week-to-week sport, and we're right in the cauldron of it on this channel with you, the listener, and you, our social media consumer, and those that engage with us week to week. And it's those of you who talk LSU football and LSU sports in your day-to-day lives. And you're like, man, after Florida State, I don't know. This Jaden Daniels, like we gotta look at the backup quarterback. I don't know if Brian Kelly can get his teams ready. This coaching staff's failed. And then all of a sudden you go out there and you dust Mississippi State, and it's, oh man, we might be the best team in the SEC. This team should be in Tuscaloosa at 7-1. We're probably better than Georgia. Look at that. And it's like, it's a week-to-week like roller coaster that I personally don't jump on. I'm closer to the even keel. We talked about that yesterday. I'm not going to go absolutely nuts when you lose to Florida State. I'm not going to proclaim everything fixed and all positive after a Mississippi State win. Like, let's just see how things go on Saturday. It's not the most fun way to go about it, but it's kind of the way that I'm wired. But Brian Kelly was asked yesterday, like, slow start. You've been coaching a long time. Are you drawing on some of those other slow starts, including last year, as you coach this team?
Unless your team is ready-made, and I made it pretty clear with 14 transfers and the amount of freshmen that we were going to have to play, that's a red flag. I mean, if you're really looking at it carefully, that's going to require some tweaking. That's going to require for you to really understand that there's going to have to be some movement in terms of changing direction, with your team along the way. We were able to do that, I think, and I think we're finding the formula for this team. But I think that, most teams that I've had, there haven't been as many that are just add water and just go. They all require a little bit of, changing the formula as the season goes along to get the right mix.
The problem with that is that you're starting every season with a big game. So that not add water and let's go means you may put yourself way behind the 8 ball. Now, with the expanded playoff, that takes a little bit backseat moving forward. Now, I understand it. But certainly this year, when you bring in transfers like everyone else is doing, and you've got young players like everyone else does, and you feel like you're not where you need to be in order to win a big game Labor Day weekend, you've really done yourself a disservice. So it's a bummer, but I also look at it and go, well, offensively, pretty much had everybody back. The running back, who's probably going to be your starter moving forward, didn't play. I know he was new, but he went out there. Everybody you had out there on their offense was back. Defense had some new faces in the secondary, sure. But in college football, you kind of got to be ready to go. You're not ready to go on opening day of Major League Baseball? Well, You got 161 more. You're struggling first 2 weeks of the NFL? Well, you can lose 7 or 8 games and make the playoffs. You're not ready to go on opening night of the NBA? Who cares? Nobody even knew you were playing. College football? Like, hey, you got to be ready to go. And that's why LSU's a little bit behind the 8 ball. I'm not suggesting that they were poorly prepared, but like, I'm just talking about the nature of that quote juxtaposed with the nature of the sport, which is like losing a game's a big deal. So I love the fact that I think LSU is going to continue to build and improve. I love the fact that they can draw on last year's disappointing start and understand that you can still play for a lot and have an opportunity late in the season to play for all your goals. But, man, like, it still doesn't make the situation any better. Your margin for error is very limited. So Brian Kelly talked yesterday about, okay, well, you played great in your first SEC game. Like, can you keep that going?
We need all hands on deck. We've got to be able to play with the same kind of competitive edge, the same kind of preparation. This is the grind of it now, right? This is where you get into your process and making sure that everybody has an understanding of doing the little things the right way every single day. We're off and running now. This is the good stuff for coaches. Players, maybe not so much. They want to get to Saturday, but we got to keep them focused on every single day.
You mentioned competitive edge, and I'm going to get to a quote that he had about that. But this is one of the places where I am so not afraid to say that I'm probably wrong. Because I have long said that personal fouls are a massive problem, that getting what I would call stupid penalties is unacceptable, that getting in fights in practice is dumb, and hitting people late and throwing punches is just so ridiculous. I hate all that because I'm as mild-mannered as they come. I shy away and diffuse confrontation whenever possible in my entire life. I've never been in a fight. I didn't play football past 8th grade. Like, my perspective on this is different than most people and certainly different than almost everybody out there on the practice field for LSU and when they take the field in the game. But I just don't understand the throwing punches after the whistle and getting late hits and all those kind of personal fouls and whatnot. And then Florida State gets 3 of them in the first half, and LSU gets their butts kicked in the second half. And I've got a lot of media members saying, hey, Florida State was tougher and more physical, ready to play than you. They had an edge. You didn't. And I'm going, they look like idiots. They're costing themselves 45 yards in penalties that I will gladly take on my way to try to score points. That's the way I see it. But most people look at it and say, you need to be the aggressor. You need to be the team with the chip on the shoulder. You need to be the intimidating presence. My guy, Brandon Taylor, who I do pre- and post-game with every week, would only have it that way. And I just don't see it that way because it's so far removed from my nature. But Brian Kelly talked about the fact that LSU got some extracurricular penalties on Saturday, and he sees some of that as a necessity, but you want guys that can straighten it out.
You know, we're looking for gentlemen off the field, but not gentlemen on the field. And, you know, I would say that, going back to what's the right mix, I want tough guys on the field that play the game the right way. I don't want to be, a team that's penalized and we hurt our team. But we want guys that have a toughness to them. And then off the field, we want gentlemen. We might have played like gentlemen both on the field and off the field. And that's not who we are, and I think we're trying to find that identity. I think we're getting close to it.
It's just hard for me to ingest that and feel confident that that's the way to be. I think that the way LSU played the first half against Florida State is far better than the way Florida State played it. But I'm in the vast minority there and realize that I'm probably, because I don't have that experience and don't live in that world and am basically the exact opposite of that I've got to reprogram my brain and realize, well, you need guys that are flirting with the rules out there. You need guys that are tough and physical and intimidating and have a presence to them. And sometimes that's going to bleed over the whistle, and it's going to cost you 15 yards. I hate it. It drives me absolutely insane to get a stupid 15-yard penalty, because to me, nothing's easier than the whistle blows and you just don't throw a punch or don't push somebody or don't go jawing back or at something. Like, that seems really easy to me, Mr. Non-Confrontational. But my job's not to knock a 330-pound guy into next week and tackle the 220-pound running back That's not in my nature either. So I get it. It's just he is looking at the Florida State game going, man, they played with a little more edge, and it's hard for me to see it that way, but I'm understanding that maybe my perspective's not exactly right, which wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last time either. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.